So we are going to go to Synergy. Each district has their own link. We're using Tolleson Union High School District link right now. Then you log in using your username and password. And if you need a login, you'll have to go through the district contact to get Synergy access. So you log in, this is how it looks. It's very simple. You can customize it if you'd like. For this sake, we're not making sure that you're in the right year. In this case, year 2019-20, and we want to look into the right school as well. So if you're working with a single school, pick that. You can also pick the district as well. But for practice purposes, we are going to pick just one school. Let's see, let's pick La Jolla Community High School. And then making sure that you only show active students. Active, not inactive, those are maybe that moved away, they're no longer at the school, so we just want active students. So once you have that setting set, before we even go further, I wanted to show you this quick access, like quick link. You're able to get already reports that are already set. These are just some examples of the reports that we use commonly. And there's a list of report numbers in the Google Drive. And then, for example, STU 204 student transcripts. If you ever need to pull student transcripts, you can do that through that report. But in the meantime, we are going to go to the student portion to find students. You can find any student using a permanent ID or a school ID, using a last name, a first name, middle name, whatever field that shows up here. You can narrow it down by those fields and look up students. But most of the time, pulling reports, you'll be pulling lists of students. Whereas the boots on the ground, the college advisors, or whoever is working with the student on the ground, they'll be finding students individually. Okay, so for this example, we're going to use asterisks, and we are going to select the field that we want in our report. So we want last name, first name, permanent ID, which is school ID, the grade. We only want 12th graders. We scroll down. As you can see, I'm in the other info tab. I want a counselor name and a school name. And then you hit find. And then this is all La Jolla Community High School seniors. I want to download this as an Excel. And then you can hit print, and then it downloads for you. And you can either open it in Excel, Microsoft Excel, or you can also use your Google Drive to store every information or every report in there. Totally your preference, up to you. In this case, I made a test folder in my drive. I'll go ahead and upload the Synergy report to my folder in the Google Drive and open it with Sheets. I expand it, and then as you can see, this is the report. It has all the information that I added. Staff name is counselor name. It has first name, middle name, which we don't use, permanent ID, which is the school ID. And then this is the student's state ID. We don't really use that for much, but most reports pull it anyway. You can either leave it or delete it if you like. So this is the report right here. Now we are going back to the report. I actually want to add another field that I didn't pull. I want to add GPA to this report. So what we're going to do now is we are going to use the function or the formula VLOOKUP. So we're going to go to our Synergy account again, and we are going to pull a GPA report for all La Jolla students. And after I pull the La Jolla students GPA report, what I will be doing is adding the GPA report to our original student list. So right now the GRD 415 report is the GPA report. So you access it during quick launch and making sure that you still have La Jolla. As you can see, it's La Jolla Community High School. The primary GPA tab, always pick academic course history, and then 12th grade is selected already. Sort out and output, always Excel, and you can actually save default. That way, if you select any other school, you're able to still use the same default setting that you saved. Okay, hit OK. Now you print it. Now we're waiting for it. And now it's downloaded. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go back. You're going to transfer the GPA report to either your Excel, Microsoft Excel, or Google Sheets. You open it up with Google Sheets if you're using your drive. And then let's rename it. These are crazy names that automatically gets named that. But let's name it so we know what it is. It's a GPA report of La Jolla. Then we copy that report. And then we're actually going to go to the other workbook, the original workbook of La Jolla students. We're going to open a new sheet and we're going to paste the GPA report. And let's rename it there too so we won't get confused. La Jolla Seniors, that's the actual workbook, 2019, 2020. And then we'll rename the sheets as well. This sheet is GPA. This one here is just a plain old list of La Jolla students, all of them. La Jolla Seniors, let's name them that. Okay, so going back to La Jolla Seniors, I'm going to remove these columns because, as I said earlier, we don't really need them, we don't really use them, and I'm of the thought that if you don't need it, just get rid of it. I like a clean report as much as we can. So here, what I want to do, and we should probably get a habit in doing, is always selecting or trying. I'm trying here to drag permanent ID column. Looks like I can't. So what I'm going to cut, I'm going to insert it to the left. Whoop. Insert the column, then paste it. So I always want the permanent ID or the school ID in the column A because we always use, that's our common field that we always match things up with. You'll see here in a moment. Here I want, and there are several things that come up with this GRD 415 report. There's academic course history, class rank, but we are worried about GPA. That's the column that we want to pull to the other sheet. So again, in every sheet, I always liked, oh, it dragged this time, really good. So we want to make sure that both sheets have the school IDs in column A. So that is where my GPA is going to fall into, and we're going to use the school ID to match up these two sheets. So we're merging information using the VLOOKUP function. And again, we're going to be pulling information from column H back to column G in the original La Jolla Seniors sheet. So from GPA sheet to La Jolla Senior sheet using VLOOKUP. So we started by the equal sign, VLOOKUP, and then you hit enter. And then we are going to put in there A2. Why? Because we're using column A to match information, and the first row that we are going to start matching up is A2. So A2 and then comma, and then we actually want to go to the next sheet. That is where the information is going to be pulled out of, but using column A. But you'll have to select column A and you're going to drag it all the way until you see the column where you're pulling information out of. So in this case, it's column H. and then we get a comma, and then we actually want to put the column number of where you're pulling information. In this case, A, B, C, D, E, all the way through H. That's column number 8. So we're going to do column 8. I'm sorry, just the number 8, and then comma, and then we are gonna end our formula by typing false. False because we want exact matches. We don't want, if we put true, then it's just gonna try to guesstimate or give us, about matches. We want set matches. If it doesn't absolutely match, then we don't want the information to be pulled. So then you exit or finish it with a parenthesis, and then, oh, it looks like something went wrong. Let's see. It looks like, and I'm going to keep it. I decided to keep this part of the video because it shows you that sometimes things are just going to go wrong, and then you kind of just troubleshoot it. So we figured out what went wrong. What went wrong actually was the permanent ID was as text instead of numbers, so we converted text into numbers. Okay, back to the function. We did the same thing as earlier. So we, A2, comma, and then we highlighted GPA all the way into the column that we're pulling information out of. And then we count the number of the column number. In this case, H is the 8th column of the sheet. And then we finish off with false, parenthesis, and return. Now it pulls. So you can either drag down the formula so you can get all the GPAs, or you can double click it. In the bottom right corner of the first cell, you can double click it, and as you can see, all the GPAs were merged using the VLOOKUP function. Right now it's using the function to pull the information. So if this ever goes away, then we are going to have our values removed and a lot of NAs because the source of the information is gone. So what I always like to do is I like to copy and paste special values only. So we won't rely on the function anymore. It'll just be the values that we got using the function. So that is VLOOKUP.